Hey, what is up, everybody? It's your boy AJTRIP, and welcome to That's a Shoot, our weekly episodic show where I talk about what's going on in the world of professional wrestling. And today's episode, I want to have an honest talk about the WWE Women's Division. Now, it's the best women's division in professional wrestling. Some major league talent on the roster right now, and there's a couple people who are still on the list, on the not active list, that are potential, Hall of Famers, Becky Lynch and Charlotte Flair. So I don't want this to be that I am dogging on the women's division or I am dogging on women's wrestling, period. But the honest talk I want to have is about, do they really need all of this time and exposure? Does everything need to be equal? Does everything need to be, you know, like 50-50 or anything like that? And I would say no. I don't say no. I don't think so. There has been talk from fans who get upset that women will go out there and they'll get 6 or 7 minutes to do a match, right? And what they'll say is, one side would say, well, the women are not over, so why even put them on the show? And the other side would say, well, they're not over because you give them 6 minutes. But the thing is that have they earned that time? Like, yeah, there's like a Becky Lynch, Charlotte Flair, Rhea Ripley, Bianca Belair, a few others. They've earned the time to go out there and go 15 minutes plus, and have a match, right? And go out there to tell a story. Some other women haven't, and I think that's what people need to kind of realize, is that time and that is earned. This just can't be given. It has to be earned. So if you're gonna put the women out there for a bit of time, they need to have earned it, right? They earned it, and it's a big thing, right? It's a big thing. People want the women to be, to have the time to do so, and that's rightfully so. But I also think you shouldn't have the women just go out there just to die as well. I think sometimes they do that. They put on a women's match just so they can say they put on a women's match. When maybe a better idea would be to do some type of segment with these women. So that they still get TV time, they still get time to cultivate their story, they have time to try to get over. But to have a match just to have a match, and say that you had a women's match, I don't think is the right idea. I really don't. And I wonder if it's doing more harm than good. I think one of the things that made me want to do something like this was they came up with a Women's United States Championship. First of all, and I hate it. First of all, I hate it because it's another title, and there's just too many titles as it is already. Because we've got 2 men's champions, we got 2 women's champions, we got 2 tag champions, along with the men's United States and Intercontinental Championship. They didn't announce the Intercontinental Championship, which is kind of interesting, but that's the deal. And the women do not need another title. The mid-card title is the tag team title. I mean, to get them another championship that they could, hold for. I don't think it's. I don't know. It doesn't sit well with me. And excuse me. If the women were going to have their own show, I could see it. If if the women were going to have their own show for their own division, which I wouldn't be against. I would think that would be a absolutely darker thing to put it up on to have it on Peacock or WWE Network. When have just a women's show. I think that would be very awesome. Hell, even have it like syndicated or something like that. Where the shows just about women. I think that would be definitely be cool. But I don't know. It's like to just give the women just another title, just so they have something to fight for and to battle with. I just don't. I don't get it. I really don't. I don't think it's needed. Um, it's very interesting. I think the reason why I don't think it's needed is because you look at NXT. They got rid of the NXT Women's Tag Team Championships, which was the right idea. Right idea. And then they came up with the Women's North American Championship, which is totally fine. I hope they don't bring back the Women's NXT Tag Team Championship because there's not enough women already. We are already hearing about people are tired of seeing Rhea Ripley and Liv Morgan. People are tired of seeing Nia Jackson and Bayley. And there's not enough women on the roster to deal with having two championships and two championship titles. And there's not enough formed tag teams, to deal with the women's tag team division. And so it just seems that it's a whole lot of overkill for this, and that's not something that I think that should be a part of wrestling. That's not something that I think it shouldn't just be. I've talked about this before. I'm just not a fan of the brand split, and I think that they should do away with the brand split. I think they should at the very least merge the championship, heavyweight championship titles, the women's titles, and the tag team titles. They didn't have it float, right? And then I think maybe even then, at least adding a United States Championship, it makes sense. Then you can get added, and it can float from show to show, and maybe it still might float from show to show. But I mean, why are we doing this? I don't know. I just think this is a total bad idea, and I think this is really not good for the overall scheme of things when it comes to the women's division. Because you're just gonna keep putting people out there just to put people out there, and they're gonna go out there to die, and that's unfortunate. And I don't want these women to go out there and to do that. And it's a very strange thing because it also depends on like the places that you go. There are some places that they will cheer for each and every woman, right? They will cheer for each and every woman, and then there are some places that just will not. And it has to be the one woman they want to see, if it's Rhea Ripley or Becky Lynch or Bianca Belair, whoever it may be. And I think they've just they've done that. It's not misogynistic. It's not hating on women to say that they don't need to do, you know, they don't need a certain amount of segments. They don't need a certain amount of time on a show. You know, it's not the way to say it. It's not sexist to say that. It's just honest. It's just like the honest thing. The honest thing to say. I think kind of like when Triple H get in trouble for saying that, I don't see color. Well, he doesn't. And he's not looking to put black people on the show just to put black people on the show. He's looking to make the best show. And if it happens to have black people, it just happens to have black people. And so good. That's what I wanted to be. I think the same thing should be for women. We shouldn't just put women on the show just to put women on the show. And one thing we also should do is we shouldn't just do, hey, let's do a 10-woman tag match so that the 10 women get on the show in this one match. No, we don't need to do that either. We just need to, continue to do with what's working. So, if I'm going to say that, I'm going to alpha all these criticisms, maybe some people might say, well, what's your solution? What's your solution to all of this? And what I would say is that the main event shows get the main event shows, right? They get the main event time. So if it's this is Rhea Ripley and versus Liv Morgan or whatever that are right now they're looks headed to War Games, then those matches that feature those War Game participants will get the time to cultivate their story, while also doing other things behind the scenes. Like there are, there's a thing going on right now with like the LWO and American Made. So cultivate, give some time and cultivate some time with, backstage segments, interview time with Ivy Now and Zelina Vega, right? Give them the time to do that. And then also give a little time to cultivate like another story that you're looking to be at, you're looking to do. Maybe you're looking to do something with, Pure Fusion Collective and maybe Damage Control or something like that. Especially now that since, Dakota Kai is back. Maybe you do something there, because she's looking to get revenge on Shayna. So maybe you cultivate a little bit of time, you do a little bit of story time for that. But I don't know if you need to do like a 10-15 minute match between her and Shayna Baszler, Dakota Kai, Shayna Baszler, to try to, cultivate the story a little bit more. Because what you want to do is you want them to get into the story so that when they have the match, you can have that, match and fans could be behind now a babyface Dakota Kai. So I kind of just think that's what it is. Like the main stories, you give a little bit more time to it, and then you have to give them the time to have matches and cultivate stories and things like that. And you can do some minor stuff and cultivate stories and things like that. I would not. You've already shown it on TV, so I guess you have to go. You have to go through with it. But man, I wouldn't have created it as secondary title, because the tag team titles are the secondary titles, and that's what it should be. So we'll just have to wait and see on that. See how that goes. See if I'm wrong or not about that. But yeah, I kind of think that we do need to have an honest conversation about the women's division and whether or not we should be trying to make things as equal as possible when it's not equal. There are many more men on the main roster than there are women. and that's just a fact. So maybe shouldn't the men have the more time as well? I mean, when they would do the draft, they would have, they would give Raw 3 picks and SmackDown 2 picks, because SmackDown was 2 hours and Raw was 3 hours at the time. They said so they gave them trying to have more people on the roster so they could have, because they had more time to do so rather than SmackDown. I mean, so maybe the same thing with like divisions. There are many more men on the men's division than there are women. So shouldn't there be more time for the men than less time for the women? I don't know. That's just me. I'm not sure, but to just start up a new championship like that when I think it's very thin as it already is. Now I will say this: if you wanted to say that, the women were, could do both shows, and you're not going to keep a woman to a branded show. The women can float from show to show. Then I'd be okay with that. That would make more sense. I think that would give and of course merge the championship titles. Yeah, that would give people more time to have, and I might endorse a secondary championship like that. But I just don't think it works right now, and that's just me. And really quick before we wrap this up, I don't see anything wrong with NXT because NXT is developmental. So, and I think they do a pretty good job. You don't really see, the developmental women getting 15 minutes, when they, at least when they're starting. They usually get to that 7 to 10 minute range. They have 7 to 10 minute matches, and I think that's fine because you're trying to develop them. And then when you get to Cora Jade and what's her face and Perez and all those girls, they do get more time and they pull it off. So I don't think NXT is the same as the main roster when it comes to the women. So that's just me. Alright, y'all, put your comments down below. Tell me what you guys think. Let me know what you guys thought about my video, my thoughts. How do you feel about the women's division, and where do you see it going? Are you with me that maybe it shouldn't be so 50-50? It doesn't have to be. There are other ways of just putting matches. Giving these women 5-minute matches or things like that. There's other ways you use that 5 minutes to talk and tell the story or cultivate storylines, things like that. They definitely don't need to be out there for 15 minutes all the time as well. So let me know down in the comment section what you feel. Like the video, share the video, subscribe to the channel, and as always, thank you guys so much for watching. This is your boy AJTRIP signing off. As always, be good to each other, y'all. Be careful out there. And I am out.